That Great Business Show. Winner, highly commended award. Irish Podcast Awards.
Welcome to episode 202 of That Great Business Show, the only business podcast packed with tips, insights and opportunities on every episode. Never mind the weather. Get out there and bring us with you. We are perfect for your 5k walk, your 10k run, or if you're escaping abroad on Aer Lingus long haul, we can join you up there as well as their proud podcast partners. I'm Conal O'Mora in Fáilte. You know, we always do business differently. Well, we could see a spike in our listenership to episode 197 during the week after auction house Sotheby's sold a dinosaur skeleton for a record $46 million. As always, ahead of the trend, on episode 197, we had the former Bonhams boss and world dinosauria expert Paddy Mead explain how to sell a dinosaur. Essential listening if you happen to have a bag of dino bones in the attic. On this episode, straight back from interning with Chanel in Paris, we have a 22-year-old woman who says that no way is bricks and mortar retailing dead for her generation. Quite the opposite, in fact. If you're in retailing, stay listening. And the beautiful game. After having sock seller and Shelburne goalie Lorcan Healy of EOS Elite on episode 201, we have found a Waterford man who wisely has gone to the lower leagues to find his fortune. In business, controlling costs is essential. That includes your business fleet's fuel costs. Maxall, a family-owned business since 1920, are big supporters of That Great Business Show. Maxall fuel cards offer tailored solutions for transport fleets of all sizes, delivering efficient fuel cost management for your business at over 700 service stations nationwide. The Maxall dedicated fuel card team wants to hear from you at maxall.ie/fuel cards. Our first guest is hoping to be an overnight success. After 7 years, we keep it real on That Great Business Show, and we like to hear the true ups and downs of a business, because business is not easy. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. Colin Brett is founder of PlayerStat Data, a coaching staff platform, as well as a player data platform focused on youth soccer player development pathways. The youth part is important, and here's why. Depending on how you count them, there could be between maybe 15 and 20,000 elite soccer players in the world. However, youth players may number up to 250 million, with, for example, 2 million of them in Germany alone. So if you were looking at markets, which one would you choose? And that's why Colin Brett chose the youth market too. Colin Brett, welcome to That Great Business Show.
Thank you for having me.
And better still, you have a big announcement. You have made a major breakthrough, which I'm delighted to say we can announce here on That Great Business Show.
Yes, after a lot of hard work, we have had 2 big contracts over in North America. We've had our first client in Canada that we've just gotten over the line, our first club client. And we've also expanded our operations in with our first US client from 6 to 18 teams. And that brings us into another league association in youth league association in the US, which vastly expands our footprint as well. So very, very happy.
And the ink isn't quite dry on these contracts, and that's why you can't name them. But it really makes a massive difference to your business.
Absolutely huge, Conor. We can, even something so simple that at some stage today, I'll be putting out on LinkedIn the wonderful We're Hiring badge, which is a nice little ego boost. So we'll be expanding our team from an analysis point of view, but also, as you said, that we've been at this a long time, but it shows that we're firmly on the right track, and especially with a current client going from 6 to 18 teams shows that there's a huge confidence in what we're doing. So very, very happy to get these over the line.
And why did you choose youth? Now, the numbers speak for themselves, but did you consciously sit down and say, do you know what? Don't bother with the big lads. Don't bother with the fancy teams. Go low.
I'd love to say, yeah, that's exactly how it happened. That really, and I knew from the start. But when we first began the company, we were around a talent ID solution.
What does that mean? What does that mean, a talent ID solution?
So it's basically a data solution to help those that need data for recruitment. to improve their recruitment operations. So within the League of Ireland, which was our first approach, we were working with a club in the Scottish Premiership. We were working with two agencies in the UK and one here in Ireland, who were looking to find that next big thing, because the League of Ireland is such an undervalued player recruitment market. But then, I'm sure your listeners are aware, there was a thing called COVID and global lockdowns. So that had a huge impact on live sport and where we were going. So it basically killed most of 2020 for us and an element of 2021. And as we got a bit deeper into it, we realised we were never going to beat the larger players in the market, the likes of Scout and at the time Instat. So we had the infrastructure, we had the data product. We looked around for where we could find a better product market fit, and we found it in the youth space around mid to late 2021.
And what exactly does your data platforms do? To a listener, how could they use your platform?
So it's targeted at kind of club staff, the coaching staff and executive staff, and also we have an app for players to see what they did in the game. What we do is we just take the match footage from our clients, which is becoming much more prevalent at youth level across every country at this stage. We collect the on-field performance data, which is possession-based metrics, defensive, attacking, goalkeeper metrics, and we collate that back into the coaching staff platform and into the player app. So in essence, our users are objectively able to assess player performances from a staff perspective and the players themselves, and that ties into development pathways. So they can start assessing trends and identifying strengths and weaknesses over the course of a season and beyond, using that objective data that we collect and we house in their platforms.
Now, my ears picked up there when you mentioned video data, because I was down watching the youth game, maybe a month or 2 months ago, and I saw very curiously a kind of a little, what would you call it? A video.
A green box?
Well, no, yeah. It was, so a fella comes along and he puts up a pole, and I think there was a camera on top of it. Could that be one of yours?
That would be more than likely a video camera, a little small kind of light green box. And you'd see it's become much more affordable for amateur and youth clubs to have video technology at games. So it's just an AI tech that the video follows the ball at all times. So you don't actually need a physical camera person there to record the games. And then that just gets uploaded to the video cloud and everybody can access it. So it's basically democratized the ability to have video at games at all levels now. And we're tapping into that. Our client in the US, you'd often see 6-7 cameras at each game, because some of the parents actually have their own video cameras as well.
As you do. I think my late parents would have been shocked to have to watch me play, I can assure you. But go back to breaking into the North American market. Again, we'll keep the two club names top secret, but trying to do it cross-Atlantic or transatlantic, that's just not easy.
Very, very difficult, Colin. And I think that's why it's taken us this time to, or this length of time to get to where we are. We've been at a couple of conventions over in the US, and we've got an element of name recognition. But within North America, they like to ask who you're working with. So it's kind of a chicken and egg situation. So now that we finally starting to get the names behind us from a client perspective, we're now able to answer that question. Yeah, it's getting that first one is quite difficult, but luckily they become champions of ours over in the USA. And in fact, their director of coaching is now a ambassador for our company. He is that into what we do and knows the potential that is within the data that we're creating. So you mentioned way back in a podcast about phrase as everything happens gradually and then suddenly. I think we're starting to hit that kind of I can use that phrase a little bit more truly now, thank God.
Oh, happy days. Now, that is called scaling, and scaling means two things. You mentioned already that you hopefully will be putting up the hiring button, but secondly, funding. You need cash to get to the next level, don't you?
We do indeed, we do. Yes, so for the time being, with the contracts that we've had, that's given us, for the contracts we've just secured, it's given us a huge foundation to build from for the coming 6 to 7 months. And it will answer those questions when it comes to who you're working with. And we hope to leverage these two clients and snowball them into 4 or 5, which would be absolutely massive for us from a revenue and cash flow perspective. But look, we're always open to the right partner and the right investor also. We would love an element of smart money, where there was a bit of sports tech or even soccer behind them, and to continue to grow from that perspective. But from our current bootstrapping strategy, it's been a lot of choppy waters and a lot of bad days and bad nights. But I think we believe we've cleared the first major hurdle, and now it's off into the sunset, we hope.
But presumably that there are others biting at your heels.
As always, as always. But I think we do have something that's very defensible. We are the only company at the moment in this space that's solely focused on youth performance data. The likes of Huddle, VO, they are across a range of sports, they're across a range of levels. We're specifically focused at the youth soccer level for the time being.
And why just soccer? Surely sport is sport if you're playing a team sport.
My background is soccer. It's the sport I know, it's the sport I love. I'd love to think that I'm not an expert in many things, but I'm an expert in football. My background is in soccer. My background is in soccer analysis. So I've kind of used that to get the company to where we are, and this is why we're in this space. Never say never for other sports down the line. The way our data platforms are set up, as our other co-founder Niall likes to say, it's like Lego bricks. So we can replace the soccer brick with a GA brick or a rugby brick or whatever it may be. The potential is there, but for now our sole focus is on soccer.
And I mentioned at the very beginning that it's an overnight success after 7 years. What were the dark days like? How dark were they?
Oh yeah, they were dark enough to consider going on Indeed.com or RecruitIreland.com and look for alternatives. We have a very young family here as well. So you have, there was the pressures of daily life to make sure that we could meet all the various bills, and we certainly wouldn't have gotten through if it wasn't for my wife and the help from parents as well. But yeah, they were really dark. But for me personally, the worst thing was I knew that there's something here and there's something huge here. It was just a case of how long can you hold on, and luckily we have held on. So it's mentally torturing at times, really is.
And I know that you're a big follower and a big supporter of our podcast, for which we are hugely appreciative. But I do wonder, when you are in those very, very dark days, what keeps you going? We love businesses who just keep grinding it out when you know that you're not just banging your head off a block wall, when you really, truly believe that there is something really big at the end of the rainbow.
Comes down to, from everyone is different, but from my personal experience, trying to treat the company as a high performing sports organization and the people within it as the elite sports stars. And I watch a lot of sports documentaries. I read a lot about sports people, and it's like, it's the quote in Rocky Balboa. It's like how far you or how long you can keep going and take the punches and keep moving forward. And it was just the personal. You invest so much personal capital and personal pride in what you do. There's sometimes just a willingness to just not let it go, because if I was to leave it go and someone else took it and it took off, the regret would be immeasurable. So it's that personal vision, that personal dream of keeping it going. I think that's what got through an awful lot of dark days.
And give me some measure, some idea of some phrase of support for somebody who may be going through those dark days at the moment. Something that you just latched on. Did you just say, here's a handy phrase, something that just kept you going? Yeah,
that one that I kind of made a bit of a botch of previously, the I'm a massive fan of the Rocky films. I have them all on video cassette and about 4 DVD box sets. But it's not how much it's how much you can take and keep moving forward. He says that's how winning is done. I don't subscribe too much to the kind of the motivational genre or anything like that. But it was, if you truly believe in something, if you believe it's going to work, and myself and I always believed in what we had, the case of right, how much can you actually take until this comes to fruition. And we knew we were onto something. Some of the potential partnerships that we've been working on, they're with massive companies in the global space. So we knew we had something. It's just basically how much can you take until this kicks in. It's cliche, but you can't give up. If there's something there and and you know within the market that there's something there, you just have to hang on.
Well, I'm really hoping that you make it huge, that you become champion of the world with this one. To help you get there, you will need to hire somebody in a heartbeat. You did say you're about to hire. Maybe your first hire could be a hire in a heartbeat.
I have a couple. At this stage, I nearly had a whole club with about 10 or 20 teams at one point. But to go back to a previous episode of yours way back with Andrew Trimble, when I listened to the story of Kairos and where they were, and I couldn't relate now still to where he was when he came on the podcast, and they've had their exit. So I think like someone like Andrew, if he has a bit of spare time now and obviously some spare cash from the bio.
He's hearing you. He's hearing you. He's a lovely guy. I can tell you that from having met him. A lovely guy.
He seems, and he know it was. I listened to the podcast again very recently, and I couldn't relate to so many stages that they were at and things they had to do and keeping things lean. So yeah, like someone those are footsteps I'd love to follow in. Rob McElhenny, the co-chairman of Wrexham, but he also has his marketing company, More Better. And I think he tells stories in a fascinating way and has created something absolutely brilliant out of Wrexham from a story perspective. And from a soccer perspective, that's, there's a lot of money, and there's, players that are playing above, that are playing beneath their level, arguably. But from a storytelling and brand perspective, I think he's excellent at what he does. So I'd like to have him if he had the time. And the last two, we have excellent data. We have excellent objective data that's not being collected at youth level, but there's serious soccer data brains out there. So the likes of William Spearman, he's the director of research at Liverpool, and specifically then in our target market, Devin Pleuler, he works for Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment in Toronto. These men are absolutely wizards when it comes to what they can do with the data and what they can take from a match. So I'd like those two as well. Is that enough?
That's enough. That's not bad. 4. You're hiring.
Yeah, I'm hiring. Yeah, I might have the money for all of them, but look, we'll see what we can do.
Colin, that is a brilliant story. And as I said, I've been watching you and keeping in contact with you. I went back through my LinkedIn and I think I saw 2021. That's only 3 years ago, and you have come such a long way. So fantastic. And I'm looking forward to that big announcement when you can put up those 2 big names, and best of luck in the future. And please come back to That Great Business Show.
That Great Business Show.
Maxol, a family-owned business since 1920, has introduced Maxol HVO Pro, a low-carbon emissions fuel, to their network. This low-carbon emission fuel can play a key role as part of your business's sustainability strategy. Available at selected locations nationwide for fuel card customers, Maxol HVO Pro is 100% renewable biodiesel with up to 90% lower carbon emissions. It's compatible with most newer diesel engines and is recommended for fleet vehicles. Visit maxol.ie/HVO Pro for more information.
De facto, the revolutionary shaving oil, changing the face of shaving. For the smoothest shave of your life, just add water. No more lathering up or cleaning up afterward. Just add a few drops of water and you're ready to go. De facto's blend of all natural oils hydrates and protects your skin. Perfect for all skin types and lasts so much longer than traditional foams or gels. De facto, a shaving revolution. Just add water. Available from selected pharmacies and from defactoshave.com.
That Great Business Show. Winner, highly commended award. Irish Podcast Awards.
Just when you were getting your business head around AI for your business, That Great Business Show, home of all the latest biz tips and insights, decides to up it a notch by introducing AR, augmented reality, to your must-learn about this list. We had an incredible young Irish businesswoman on episode 181. Ashley McDonnell was rejected for a job by international fragrance and fashion brand Pooge, but she didn't take no for an answer and is working with them now for 4 years, running their global digital marketing operation. One of Ashley's Hiring heartbeats was another young woman, Leisha O'Connell, who, until very recently, was working with another global brand, Chanel. Ashley said Leisha was the brightest of the brightest and an expert on AR, the aforementioned augmented reality. So we had to have Leisha on the podcast. And here she is. Leisha O'Connell, welcome to That Great Business Show.
Hello. Thank you so much. That was a very kind intro.
You have just left Chanel.
Yes.
So is that going to be a big wrench because you were based in Paris, I presume,
Yes.
for the last 6 months?
Yes, actually across the road from Ashley. So we bumped into each other a few times.
Waving at the window
on our
at
coffee
each other.
breaks. Yeah.
Cool. And what were you doing with Chanel?
I was working in customer relations management within their watches and fine jewellery department at a European level.
I presume there's hundreds of people, thousands of people?
Yes, thousands, I think.
Oh, really?
Yes, I wonder if there's any other Irish people. I don't think so. But,
You didn't come across any others anyway?
No. But it is a huge operation. They've 5 or 6 offices in Paris with hundreds of people in each.
And it's a world brand in the true sense of it. Now, why do you know so much about AR, augmented reality?
Well, as a part of so I've just graduated my double degree.
Out of DCU, is
Out
it?
of DCU, yeah. So it's a great program if anyone is completing their CAO and they're looking for a good program. I did global business and French in DCU, and it is so good. It gives you the opportunity to do 2 years with DCU, but then also 2 years in Neoma Business School in France. And so as a part of our, graduation requirements, we start researching and conducting a thesis. And at the time, AOR, this was like 8 months ago or so. AOR,
so long ago.
Yeah, no, but in the technological realm, that is a long time. Things advance very quickly. And AOR was having a big moment in the media on LinkedIn. I had attended an event that was run by Vogue in collaboration with Snapchat, which is the biggest kind of AOR app at the moment. So I decided to take the opportunity to really research into this because when I went to that event, I was like, I want to work there. That seems like a great creative application of technology within the luxury space. And so I did a very, very deep dive, speaking to 13 different professionals, industry insiders and experts about what they think of AOR and whether it is what it's made out to be.
Well, let's start at the very beginning because it's a very good place to start. AR, what does AR mean to you, augmented reality? What are we actually talking about to the very average listener, just like me? What are you thinking of?
Well, AOR is basically taking anything within our reality and superimposing something onto it. So whether it's a filter or whether you're, in a shop, for example, a sunglasses shop, and you want to try on the sunglasses virtually. Now, that's not something that you would necessarily do in a shop. You would do it on an e-commerce website and you say, okay, does this frame suit me? You can do it with a lot of different products, like within jewellery, bracelets, watches.
You can put it on, can you?
Yeah, and you can put it on and see what it's like on you.
Virtually, obviously.
Yes, all virtually. So, of course, it has huge limitations because the technology still bugs and it still is not perfect. And luxury brands strive for perfection always. They are not comfortable putting out anything to their clients without it being perfect. And that's what clients expect. They expect absolute perfection. But they also, younger clients, should I say, they want to have innovative experiences as well. And so there is kind of a new expectation for luxury brands to be innovating and providing new experiences. And a lot of them have turned to AOR to innovate with their e-commerce and provide this service.
So it's another sales, another method of selling, yeah?
A way of driving sales and helping with conversion rates.
And when you started 8 months ago, you said that there have been huge advances since then. What has actually changed since then, in your direct experience has it got exceedingly better or a little bit better? Is it slow? Does it demand huge Wi-Fi?
To be honest, the concern when I was doing my thesis was how much it wasn't improving as quick as we want. And the kind of push towards like AI really is the focus now. And without AI, none of these other technologies are going to be as able to reach their full potential. And so AOR is great, but it's really nothing without AI. And so it's the convergence that we need between these technologies.
And what would that mean? Again, examples. What will I see, whether it's in 6 months or in 6 years?
Well, I just think now that we have AI, it's much better at understanding like how the human body works, and it's able to say, for example, right now we can't do a virtual try-on of a pair of heels.
You can't?
No, because first of all, the client needs to have their bare foot out, and the strap needs to work, and it's all of these different. The heel, like it's hard to elevate a client because they're not elevated; they just have their foot flat on the floor. So it's all of these things, and when we use AI and when we, expand with these other technologies, that maybe that's the kind of possibilities that we can reach.
You mentioned AI. I have adapted it. I use it every day now on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But I was looking back on myself, if you like, and seeing, good God, that's how quick we adapt and adapt.
I know.
So back to your AR, when do you think we might start, when I say we, SME type businesses, when will they start using AR?
So for example, with SMEs, I know a lot of your listeners are from them, and with SMEs, I think technology can be really extremely expensive at the moment. Mm-hmm. And
so therefore it's not happening.
Well, I just think when you are a company like Chanel or Dior or somewhere like that, it's okay for them to maybe practice and do different things and explore and take more risks. Some companies are happier to take more risks than others. For example, with Gucci, they are known to be much more innovative than the likes of Chanel, just because that is a part of their image. And so it's a part of their strategy, and they almost do it as kind of a PR thing, and they can put out a message to their clients saying, we're innovating, and people who are open-minded will want to buy from those companies. But at the end of the day, until companies are providing value with technology, it's not really worth it. So for example, with SMEs, until there's clear value there, it's not necessarily something that I would recommend investing in just because of the expense. But at the same time, with technology now, if you are a company and you want longevity, I think introducing other technologies, there are plenty now that are bringing great value, and introducing them
now. And I tell you what, we have had recently on the podcast a company called Amber Eyewear. We've also had on 201 last episode was a lovely guy called Lorcan Healy of EOS Elite leisure wear or running wear. And I'm thinking of people like him and Amber Eyewear, if they're trying to reach a young audience, which I know that they are, this is a way of doing it. If there's a clever, cheap, we love cheap, if there's a cheap way of doing it. Have you seen anybody adapt and adopt it in a clever way that was not going to need the budget of a Dior or a Chanel or an LVMH?
Absolutely. I think depending on your strategy, if you're not taking a more luxury approach, consumers nowadays want much more authentic content. That's a really easy way to do things that are cheap, and using, all you need to do is video and social media. At the moment, that's what I think most of especially Irish companies are doing, and they're doing very authentic, like street style interviews with maybe their possible consumers, and just taking a more authentic approach with social media, I think is the best way at the moment. Because I know they don't have the budgets all the time.
Yeah, and Lorcan Healy is a big believer in that authenticity.
Yeah.
Which I understand, but to go steal a march on other brands, it's about ducking and diving, I presume.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, is there a way around introducing AR, have you seen a use or anybody using AR cleverly and cheaply, or no cost ideally? But of course, that's not going to happen.
The best application I've seen at the moment is out-of-home advertising. And so advertising that you might see on the street, which will be a hook for a possible client, something interesting, but that it prompts them to take out their phone and use a filter or something immersive and something that they can engage with the client. So it might be, like scanning a QR code and then having an augmented experience or seeing an augmented filter. And that will create a memorable moment between the brand and the client, even though it's something that, it didn't cost that much because it's just a poster or something.
And I'm hearing you, but I'm also hearing a different demographic, I think, because the idea of taking out my phone, going through a QR, I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like, that's why it is something that is hard at the moment, especially for luxury brands, because they need to start adapting their strategies to younger consumers, but they're not the people who have the purchasing power at the moment. And so they're not really the people who are going out and buying a Gucci bag, but they will be in 20 years. And so they need to create the bond now.
And I can see the dilemma there. You're creating you're creating augmented reality for a customer that's not going to use it.
Yes, and so it's not really something, you're not going to see the ROI for another few years at least.
So do you just wait? Or do
yeah. Well, that's why I wouldn't, for brands, sometimes some brands just don't have the money to be spending right now and doing this and saying, okay, I'll wait, because they have more important things to get to, I guess. And so that's why it's easier for bigger brands to take on these things.
Which we understand, but you I'm always looking around to see where technology is right now. And there's going to be another chip, I'm sure, made by NVIDIA or something like that, that is going to produce this. We had a very, very interesting company on, God, I can't remember what episode, but it was called Zavatar, Jason P. Rothberg. And he is a huge believer in this thing called the metaverse. I'm still not absolutely sure what the metaverse is. He only spent about a half an hour trying to get it into my dumb brain. But the metaverse is, in a way, augmented reality, or in a big way, or...
Yeah, well, it's more so a virtual reality, so it's an online world. So you're not really superimposing anything onto the reality. It's actually, you're entering a completely different universe, which is a whole new thing. And it's huge in the gaming world with Roblox, and that's also a huge market. And we don't even realise how much money is being spent in that kind of world at the moment. I was speaking to one of the interviewees that I had said that there are now Gucci bags being sold on Roblox, which is an online gaming platform, for €4,000. And that's a bag that you'll never have in real life, but you have it online.
Really?
Yeah.
Hang on a second now. Go back. I know Roblox. I know the name Roblox. I've never obviously played it.
Me neither, to be honest.
It is, I know that you have little kind of goodie bags that you can buy. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I think to be honest, I haven't played Roblox either, but it's kind of, it's something where you have an avatar, but this is the type of thing that luxury brands are investing in, because maybe they want their avatar to have, Dior runners or a Gucci bag or...
Now, you have only very recently left one of the companies that we won't mention. When you're listening at meetings, what's the future of retail that they're talking about? We won't mention what brand, but one of the big international brands, they have huge insights. I mean, they've got budgets to investigate. Or do they believe that the future is a little bit of bricks and mortar, lots of bricks and mortar, or are they getting ready for just being purely virtual?
To be honest, the company that we shall not name, they were one of the companies that during COVID, it was kind of very much well known that they didn't adopt e-commerce.
Did they not?
No, because it just wasn't in their DNA. It just wasn't their thing. They've now done kind of some click and collect and with certain product lines, but in order to maintain their exclusivity and keep the connection with the client, they want everything to happen in store. And that was something that they said from the start. And so the future retail is not online. It really isn't. And more younger people want the in-store experience, but it's just that we are going to use technology and immersive experiences to improve the in-store experience. And so definitely they're not a company who will let go of that. And I don't think any luxury brands will.
That's
really is
really interesting, because I presume what I've been reading is the end of the shopping mall and all the rest.
No, it's like the opposite. And when you think about it, if you're going to, because one of the kind of limitations with AOR is that if you're buying a watch, for example, I was working in watches and fine jewellery, if I was going to go in and buy a watch that was 15 grand or more, up to, I don't know what, but
And you, just as a matter of interest, what is the most expensive watch in the range? Do you remember? Is it hundreds of thousands?
Millions, probably, yeah. They have, it's depending on limited editions. And no, huge. If you are going to buy a watch like that, I really don't think I'd be considering what it looked like through the filter on my phone. I would want to go into that and make it I would want to make it a day out. I would invite my friends, I'd invite my mom. Like, I would want to make it into a full experience. And so that it's a memorable moment that you will cherish forever. And so that's when e-commerce isn't really going to work. I would not want to buy it and have it sent to my doorstep. I would want to go into, the Champs-Élysées and see it there in real life.
I'm going to claim that this is an exclusive interview, because would you be considered a millennial?
No, Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Still, yeah.
And Gen Z says the mall is alive and about to have a renaissance.
I know, and I hate e-commerce. I don't like going online. I don't know. And I know a lot of people like my age are like that as well.
But that's what you've just spent the last 6 months doing. You're trying to...
Well, no, digital strategies is fine. And I mean, e-commerce is great, and there is a place for it, definitely. And it's important to have a digital presence, definitely. But in terms of high-end luxury goods, it's not going to be that forever.
A couple of last questions. Is the smaller businesses, any really clever little hacks, little tips, little insights that you would say, do this because this is a fabulous idea? Now, I am landing you in it. You haven't been prepped for this, but I'm just wondering to pick your brains. I love what's going on in your head. Did you see any small businesses when you were either in Paris or anywhere else doing something when you said, that could be replicated?
I think, again, just going back to the creating experiences, the small companies that I remember the most, and I know that my friends and people my age enjoy like following the most, is brands who are doing pop-ups and are doing things in store that you can go, and events and things like that. And it's a simple idea, really, and it's been done for a long time.
Pop-up. The simple pop-up.
The simple pop-up. And it's something that definitely people are enjoying still to this day, and that is gaining a lot of attention. Like, I have seen like small boutiques opening in Paris, and there's a line like for a mile down the road, it seems like, really, really long, and people are standing in line. And I was saying, what are they waiting for? What are they looking at? And it might be something like a cupcake, something so small, and it gains so much like publicity, because I'm walking by and I'm saying, what new boutique is that? And I'm looking and I'm saying, what are they doing? And obviously I see a huge line of people as well, so there's demand, and I'm saying, oh my God, if they're standing there, should I be standing there? And so it's
the old trick, eh?
Yeah, and so it's definitely going back to that though, and driving people to the boutiques. That's a big point that they make, especially nowadays, is like whatever we can do to drive in-store traffic. That's a huge goal in all of our strategies over the last 6 months, was how to drive in-store traffic. And so all of our, even when we send out any client communication, we're not saying buy now. We don't use that terminology. We're not trying to drive sales through communication, but we're saying, please make an appointment with our sales advisors to come in and view the products. And it's all that same thing that's been done for years.
Gently, gently, catchy monkey, as they say. Two last questions. So obviously I've already had my third one. Second one is, you're now a free agent. What are you going to do next?
Yes, well, I'm starting a master's in September. So it's the SEMS Masters in International Management, and it's a great program. It's a global alliance between the top international business schools around the world, as well as international companies and NGOs. And they offer this program. So I'll start that. I'm moving to Lisbon.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. That's, again, news to me. Lovely place to be.
Yes.
And with a view to what? Do you want to get, like, longer term, 2 years' time, 3 years' time, will you be in retail?
To be honest, I'm still really trying to stay curious, because I know that there's still so much more that I haven't learned yet. And I think definitely technology now is like something that everyone's going to be working in. And so I've really enjoyed doing digital marketing over the last few years. And I think I can see myself definitely in that lane again, and staying in luxury. I'm enjoying it at the moment, definitely. But I'm open and I'm very curious, and I know that things change so quick, and I'm sure that the job that I'll have in 3 years might not have been invented yet. You never know. And I definitely want to be in an innovative place and in that kind of...
Final question that we ask everybody. Who would Laoise O'Connell hire in a heartbeat? And you cannot say Ashley.
I know. I'll do it.
Just go around in a circle.
And you'll have her on next week. Definitely someone who's been really inspiring for me and who I would have on my team if I was employing would be a dear friend of mine, Aoife Barrett. She recently did her own internship on e-commerce strategies in China, which
Very
was
interesting.
Extremely interesting. And she got 100% in her thesis. It was a perfect thesis, very, very inspiring. And I really, even speaking to her about it was just super interesting. She is somebody definitely to look out for at the moment.
Do you think would Aoife come on to the
I'm sure
podcast?
she would. I think
because this is going to continue.
This is going to be the
Ashley gets Laoise gets Aoife. Because what Ashley, and for anybody who didn't listen back to the Ashley episode, I can't remember, she was certainly talking to me about the use of what's happening in China and
it's
about
huge, yeah.
TV. TV's dead. And they just do this 24-hour a day selling.
Full time. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Just, oh no, not for me. Thank you.
I
but
know.
I don't know, what is it? There's a billion anyway. People in China who seem to be bought into this. So we must have Aoife Barrett on to see what's going to happen next.
Definitely.
So Laoise O'Connell, thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
De facto, the revolutionary shaving oil, changing the face of shaving. For the smoothest shave of your life, just add water. No more lathering up or cleaning up afterward. Just add a few drops of water and you're ready to go. De facto's blend of all natural oils hydrates and protects your skin. Perfect for all skin types and lasts so much longer than traditional foams or gels. De facto, a shaving revolution. Just add water. Available from selected pharmacies and from defactoshave.com.
It's all go like Cursey Gno on thatgreatbusinessshow.com.
That Great Business Show.
And that is it for episode 202 of That Great Business Show. Great business insights and inspiration as always. Maxall, a family-owned business for over 100 years, back us so that we can bring you those best business tips and insights on every episode. Return the favour and sign up for their fuel card. It is great for your business. Also, sign up for your own personal copy of the podcast at thatgreatbusinessshow.com. Share us, like us, and give us 5-star reviews. It all helps. Your business should advertise with us like De Facto Shaving Oil, the world's best shaving oil that, unlike shaving foams, doesn't pollute the planet. We're thinking of introducing a slot for Best Business Tips. If you have a really clever tip that you think isn't commonly known, you could star on Ireland's favourite business podcast by sharing it with us on LinkedIn. Sign up to our page at That Great Business Show on LinkedIn, where we have an ever-growing community of like-minded business people. I think we're above 10,000 or 15,000 or something there now. Huge thanks as always to Conor Eustace for elevating our resonance to a celestial level. How about that? Later, the two angels of sound, studio manager Peter Rice and post-production engineer Neil Horner, reach for nirvana in their quest to ensure that we are the world's best-sounding business podcast. So for me, Conor Moran, buchas to you all, agus slán, Tomel.